Thank you for tuning in to the Otherworldly Podcast once again. Let's get these chips out of here.
Not sponsored by Talkies.
Not sponsored. We do have a few things today to talk about, and we did get a package, which I should flip over because it has my address on it. But this is actually for Dylan, and we're going to open that a little bit later on in the episode. So we'll just keep it right there.
You forgot to introduce us.
Oh, yes, I did. I'm your host, Frank, and this is
Dylan.
the co-host, Dylan. So we got a little bit of news to talk about today. So what do you want to start with?
Dude, it smells like in here. You need to take out the trash, dude. There's diapers in there.
Wait, but you don't even have a kid.
Yeah? And?
Well, I can't take it out right now. We're doing the podcast.
I don't give a dude. It smells so bad.
It's just lately I've had that feeling of being watched.
Well, I don't give a I don't give a flying F if you feel like you're being stalked or something. You're being pursued. I need that trash out of here before I will start this podcast.
Fine.
Good.
You're repositioning the lights.
Slave.
Master. Shit, how did you write?
Generals gathered in their masses. Ah. Ah. Da 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 da. Childproof packaging, I got this. long does it take to take out trash? Yo, where have you been? I've been waiting here forever for you.
I've been taking out the trash.
Alright. You got a little, chicken.
You're a little chicken, Dylan. We got a little mint.
Mint ASMR.
ASMR for you. Bad idea to start a podcast with it, but
He offered me some mints. And I just couldn't say no.
I guess while we're eating these mints, there's a box here that's for Dylan.
Ooh, I wonder what it can be.
Be careful, it's fragile though.
Huh?
So be careful, it's fragile. We figured some.
Actually, knowing you, I'm, to be honest, a little worried about what this is. Like, I'm kind of scared it's going to be like a tarantula or something. Or like a colony of ants. So
We got some.
just a heads up, I can't take care of a colony of ants. I'm too much of a busy man.
They only eat like once a week.
Is that what this is?
I'm not telling you. What if I was just gonna tell you what it is? Why would I put it in a box?
Good point.
So this is the box ripping ASMR. I said it's fragile. Don't worry, you're not gonna have to take care of dead ants. Yeah, Amazon.
This mother duct tape goes all the way around.
Yeah, Amazon really likes to secure their boxes.
You did this, didn't you?
It says, do you see where it says Amazon Prime tape? Underneath the duct tape.
Does someone have scissors? This is killing me.
Just open the box.
I can't. I sit here helpless. Our assistant is getting us scissors. Thanks, assistant. You're worth the money.
This is a different assistant from the previous assistant.
Yeah, that one got fired. She was actually stealing from the podcast.
Yeah, our income of our revenue of like 6
15
cents. It was 15 cents.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we hit double digits, but 15 cents a month. You know.
Alright, just a heads up. Should I put my hand in this?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. What? Did you fart in a bag?
Yeah. Well, that's a different gift.
Oh, okay. Alright, so there's nothing in here. My anxiety is palpable.
Some crinkle bag ASMR.
I'm so helpless to open this. It's gonna be all this. I'm gonna find out there's nothing in here, right? Is that the thing? There's a bag inside of a bag inside of a bag inside of a box.
Yeah, but with bag prices these days, you gotta save money anywhere you go.
Oh my gosh. You elaborate mother. This is actually really cool though. Don't worry about that.
He's a struggling sodaholic.
Just so y'all can see, it's my otherworldly podcast co-host identification.
It's official.
Official. Lead investigator, co-researcher, weekly news, stories, experiences, mysteries, otherworldlypod@gmail.com. And it has a barcode. Let me know, what does that barcode do?
It's basically if anybody ever asks you about your channel while you're wearing it, they can just QR code it and it takes them directly to our channel.
To our YouTube channel?
Yeah.
That is so dope, actually.
Get your phone, try it out. No, you just gotta just let it, yeah. And now click the link.
That is sick.
So you can wear this in public, and if anybody asks about it, you can just have them QR code it.
Or I put it in my wallet, and then if people ask, I can just pull it out and they'll scan it. Because our channel is relatively obscure and kind of hard to navigate to. So this is actually really
That's
handy.
actually what gave me the idea, because our channel is so hard to navigate to. So I figured just anybody can just QR code it now.
Nice. All right. And then what else? What else did we want to do today?
Now, the first news story that we have for you today, which is kind of a few
Old
days
news.
old now, but it's okay.
We've been putting off shooting this episode for like 3 days.
Yeah, the weather. It was the weather called it off on the normal shooting day of Thursday. I had to call it off on Friday. Dylan called it off on Saturday. And now we're here.
On Sunday. And this will probably be up on Tuesday, so it'll be a full almost week late.
So the first news story is going to be with the self-driving Uber that killed a lady.
I saw that. I saw that on Philly D, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. But what I also saw was like the video of the lady that was supposed to be like paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, like I don't know what her job description is, but I'm pretty sure that would have fit it, like to pay attention, and then if you see an object or a person, to like swerve out of the way. It looked kind of like she wasn't paying any attention at all when it happened.
So if you were to think, so who would you lay so you'd lay the blame on the lady, or?
See, now that's kind of like tricky. Like I feel like she wasn't paying attention, but even if she had, there's a chance that it would have happened anyways. But at the very least, it's like, it's why is she even in the car if she's not going to pay attention? You know what I mean? I wouldn't necessarily put the blame on her too, because it looked like the bicyclist kind of came out of nowhere on a busy intersection. The bicyclist by all means should have seen the car.
If I'm not mistaken, it was like nighttime, and she wasn't wearing any reflectors. In fact, I think most of her clothing was like dark clothing.
Mm.
So it's like there's a lot of people, of course, saying that a person wouldn't have been able to
avoid it.
Yeah. Especially the lady, because like whenever you watch the video, even though she may not be paying attention, but not everybody's paying attention as well as they should anyway when they're driving, even if it's not an autonomous vehicle or whatever.
That's true.
So a couple things that I thought when I heard the story was think of it this way, is that yes, the car didn't detect the person, because I'm sure it has some kind of detecting software for regular things, right?
Mm.
But why did it not detect her though? Like I'm saying, if there was say it wasn't a person, say it was just a like tire tread, like an entire tire was sitting in the middle of the road, would the car not have seen that then? Because it was dark, it was nighttime. What's the difference between her and shrapnel sitting in the just in the middle of the road? The car would have hit.
Does the car? That's actually something I'm curious about. How much is the self-driving Uber actually capable of? Because I've never heard about it like avoiding shrapnel, or like I know it'll say another car is coming, it'll avoid hitting that car, but to me that seems like it's a lot easier to sense a huge car than like shrapnel sitting in the road. Do you know? Does it actually drive around shrapnel?
I'm assuming it does, but at night it obviously wouldn't have, because it was a full human that it hit with a bicycle. So it's like if there was a smaller but still damaging tire, because imagine hitting a tire, especially if you're in like a car, and if it's a decent sized tire. I mean,
doesn't I know part of it's the driving Uber has a few senses, and I thought one of them wasn't based on sight but actually vibrations. Is that a thing?
A person walking in the road, I'm assuming would cause more vibration than a stagnant tire sitting there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering, is like if there's shrapnel in the road,
so
wouldn't it just hit it?
Should we even be okay with the like Uber in general? Because if it doesn't have good enough senses to sense the car or the bike,
yeah, then how can we get expected to sense road shrapnel?
Yeah, I got you.
So I mean, it's like when it comes to blame, I can see why it wouldn't be. I mean, you can't blame the car because it's just a car driving. You know, if they fully trusted the car, they wouldn't have a backup driver. Although it was so dark, and by the looks of it, the driver didn't notice it anyway. So
And
I don't
the
think a regular
bicyclist
thing.
obviously wasn't paying attention.
The only reason I believe if it was an actual person that it would have been avoided is because of the speed limit. Because if I'm not mistaken, we should probably look it up. Anyway.
The Uber was going pretty fast.
Oh, I thought
video I
it was
saw.
going 5 miles under the speed limit though.
Was it?
That's what I thought it was.
Mm.
I know when I drive the speed limit or a couple miles over, but I never drive 5 miles under the speed limit.
Mm.
But as far as I'm aware, so if it were an actual person, he wouldn't have hit her because he would have just completely passed her because
Yeah,
he'd
I
have been
got
going
you.
faster the whole time. Not saying anybody else would have hit her or wouldn't have hit her, but even if
That's
someone
more like a circumstance thing, though.
right,
Than like
yeah. But if someone were to have hit her, I don't think whoever hit her would have had that great of legal trouble because she didn't wear any reflectors. There's a lot of things.
So, like looking
that.
at it from the perspective of like, let's just forget it's an Uber for a second. If that was a person driving, and then someone just ran out in front of them with no reflective things, like I can imagine me being the driver and like mostly paying attention, and then that happens. It's just like that's the word I'm looking for. Basically, it happened, but it wasn't necessarily your fault because the bicyclist just kind of wasn't paying attention to who was on the road, no reflective gear, tried to pass when obviously she couldn't, and then got hit.
Yeah, because because it's not like she was in a crosswalk. It's not like it was during the day.
Also,
things like that.
yeah, I think that also like kind of segues in another conversation about the self-driving cars. How much leeway do we give them to make mistakes, or at least to be parts of accidents? Because, like, I'm sure, I don't know the statistics, but I'm sure because this is the first huge accident that's happened with the self-driving car, that there's probably less likely of a chance, statistically speaking, or like percentage-wise, of being in an accident in a self-driving car than with a person. Even still today, with it being experimental, it's just when bad things happen with a machine, people will freak out because it's new.
Yeah, because like after that happened, I think if I'm not mistaken, they pulled
them. They stopped.
Yeah, all of them. And it's like I honestly don't believe that should have happened.
I think,
it sucks.
It's still technology that needs to develop, but I think that in this case, it did kind of seem like unavoidable to an extent, at least with how good they are and the fact that like how dark it was and all those considered.
Yeah, because it was really just bad luck. It could have been any car driving at that time in that place, and it's really, why is someone walking in the middle of the night in dark clothing down a road? They make crosswalks for a reason,
Yeah,
or there's a lot of places. A lot of places have dedicated bike lanes, but when you're just walking across the street, and it looked like it was a multiple lane. It was a multiple lane road.
It definitely looked like a freeway or something.
The reason they make multiple lanes because they know that those areas get a lot of traffic, or at least more traffic than a one lane. So it's really hard for me to justify it being that bad for the Uber, especially since they like the whoever has the automated system is like, it's hard to really fault them when they have, they built the system to detect things, and not only that is they had a person in there too. They were doing their due diligence to make sure accidents like that don't happen, and it still happened.
Yeah.
So, and that's my opinion on, is that it's more or less, I'm worried about shrapnel when it comes to automated vehicles, and if they're going to be able to detect that at night, if they couldn't detect a person.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. Well, I think that puts us at our halfway point because we're at 16 minutes. You want to go ahead and take a break and then come back?
And then, yes, and when we come back, we will be talking about
EVP?
EVP.
Yeah.
And
EVP apps for your phone. Stay
or
tuned.
app, if we could even find one. If not, then back to Reddit.
We have everything planned out here on the Otherworldly Podcast. Welcome back to the Otherworldly Podcast. We got a few treats for you. We're going to try out an EVP app and read you a story off of Reddit.
So the EVP app is on the Android. And let's see here. It doesn't have a lot of options, but we're going to give it a try. Is anybody... Hold on, my battery's dying. Is anybody with us here right now? What is your name? Now let's see the results.
Is anybody with us here right now? What is your name?
A little closer to the mic, and then do the slower playback speed.
All right, we're gonna play this back to see if we got anything.
Is anybody with us here right now?
Yes.
What is your name?
Chip. Looks like we heard nothing.
Yeah, it didn't sound like there's anything on there. I'd rate this app a
0 spooks out of 5.
I'll give it a 0.1 spook. Now I will proceed to uninstall the app while
he's
my
doing that.
lovely assistant.
I hate my life. I will read the Reddit post and try not to hurt myself. Stop making noise. We can't keep paying this assistant. All right. This guy says on the subreddit paranormal, something very weird happened to me in 2012. I'm finally ready to talk about it. Rockwood Mansion in Delaware. Can ghosts mess with digital tech? ? I was there for a wedding at the Rockwood. I was there for a wedding. I didn't know about its paranormal history. At the time, I was obsessed with photography and since then rarely used my camera. I got there early and photographed the entire place, especially a grandfather clock I was drawn to. When I came back down the stairs, the owner asked me why I went past the velvet red rope. It was down. I didn't even notice it was there. She told me I shouldn't have done that and gave a story of bad things happening up there. That night, I copied, not moved, the photos to my usual places. I believe in the 3-2-1 backup method. I believe in the 3-2-1 backup method. So I put the pictures in my laptop, phone, tablet, external HD, iCloud, and OneDrive. I showed them to my roommate and a few friends that night. About an hour later, every photo from beyond the velvet rope was gone. In all those places. Not even in the recycle bin. 2 of those devices were in my safe overnight. It freaked me out hard because everything before and after the velvet rope were still intact. I told no one of the warning I received from the owner, so it wasn't a prank. I started getting bad dreams involving slaves. A few months later, they went away. One person comments that they doubt the Rockwood Mansion would have haunted slaves because it was built in the 1850s and by then slavery was on its way out in the northern Delaware. I would seriously doubt Rockwood Mansion having slave ghosts, so I wouldn't be too freaked out by that. I've never been to Rockwood, even though I'm from northern Delaware, so I can't vouch for eerie feelings. Let's see.
Now,
it's
one thing I'm wondering is, in that segment you read there, he mentioned that before he shut everything down or whatever, he showed the pictures to his friends.
Yeah.
Does that mean including the pictures from beyond the velvet ropes or whatever?
Yeah.
So there was probably nothing even special on them if all of them saw it or had seen those photos and said, "Oh my God."
Well, the big deal was that he showed it to them, but he didn't tell them like that it was supposedly haunted. And then the next day, from the iCloud, the drives, this, that, all deleted. Only the pictures from when he went beyond the rope.
Yeah, but there must not have been anything important on there, right? Because if he was able to, he viewed those pictures, so he knows what was in them. He showed them to his friends, so his friends know what was on those pictures.
It's just the fact that they were deleted.
Okay, so it's
Like,
not that there's
secretly
anything
and-
actually there. It's just the creepy part is the fact that they're all gone.
Is that, yeah, the next day, supposedly the pictures he took in the haunted part of the house were just all gone.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming he actually stayed there, right? That's what it sounds like. That he stayed at that hotel, or
I don't think he stayed at the Rockwood Mansion. I think he stayed at a hotel, but just happened to be at the Rockwood Mansion earlier that day.
and didn't mention it
Yeah.
because I'm assuming, what is Rockwood? Is it a tourist
It's
attraction?
yeah, I believe so.
Because they must like have like
Denver.
lodging there, you know. If he was staying at one of their places, and there was like, say, the safe is like the safe that they usually have in certain motels and stuff, they could have easily unlocked the door since they have the keys to everything and opened the safe since they have all that. Although, yeah, then
So you
he
think
probably.
it could have been a prank?
Well, not a prank. Well, I mean, it could have been whatever, but I mean, I guess that's. I don't think that anymore because after really thinking about it, I'm assuming he had his stuff password protected, and how are they going to get that?
Yeah. And there was 6 different devices, he said. Tablet, phone, computer, and then the cloud. So at least 4. But I think he said 6. So it's a bunch of, it's basically specifically just the photos taken beyond the supposedly haunted spot. All those are gone from a bunch of different sources. So I can see how he's kind of freaked out about it. It's a little spooked.
Yeah, I guess I can definitely see that too. Although the whole slave thing, which was weird, because yeah, one of the commenters had a point regarding slavery, but not only that is, how would anybody from not our time know how to delete everything from all this? You trying to see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, no,
They weren't
So
that
they're
tech savvy
They came back
in
from beyond the grave and they're like, how the do I use iCloud? Oh,
exactly.
I can't let
so,
those nude
mean-
photos of me. I was in the middle of a ghost. Yeah.
see what I mean? Like, how would they
Yeah.
have even known? And it wasn't like they just deleted everything because
Yeah.
only those pictures. So
And
that was
it's-
very specific.
It's been said by a lot of paranormal researchers that ghosts don't inherit a bunch of knowledge as soon as they die. They're just confused. They don't suddenly know things. It's not like you could show them any invention and they'll be like, oh, I know how to delete photos off of that. So I see what you mean.
They'll be like, that's a magic brick.
Yeah. What's the deal with your magic brick?
But although, though, there is one thing that this reminds me of, and I can't remember where it was. I want to say it was... I'm not even going to try to guess what it is, but there's actually a mansion that you're not allowed to take pictures at. And not because it's not a policy, it's just whenever you do take a picture, it never comes out. It is also a mansion as well.
Winchester?
No. I don't think so.
I've seen videos of the Winchester, so I'm sure it's not it.
But
can
I
you
do
take-
know...
Do they have pictures of the outside of the mansion at least?
I believe so. And they even give tours inside, but every time people take pictures while they're inside in certain areas, it never comes out.
The thing, maybe that's I could see that though just being a myth that the owners created to add to suspicion. Because say you have a mansion and don't want people taking pictures at because it'll ruin the mystique of it. You could just be oh, don't take pictures because all the pictures magically disappear.
Oh, these ones didn't disappear. They were just
They
either
you
it
take
wasn't
it
even corrupted.
and it
It
doesn't
was
develop properly.
right. It doesn't. It's fuzzy, real fuzzy, or has the light streaks on it. Honestly, I don't. I know this is probably wrong, but I think it was Elvis's mansion or Elvis's estate. I feel like that's a real shot in the dark, but
Let's see. I googled haunted mansion can't take photos, and I got a lot of things about Disney.
I don't.
13 wicked photos of the haunted mansion. 30 little secrets Disney doesn't want you to know.
No, I don't. don't think we should. No, if we were to hunt down on Disney, we would have to do a whole episode about Disney.
All right. Actually, that sounds kind of fun to kind of ruin everyone's childhood. So I might look into that. I think other than that, that kind of wraps us up for today, right?
Yeah, I believe so. If I do remember what mansion it is, or if anyone who watches this knows what mansion I'm talking about, email us.
Email us at theotherworldlypod@gmail.com.
And how do you know that?
Because it's on my ID. Y'all will zoom in on that later. Make the editor do it.
And if
Hi,
you didn't,
Sarah.
And also, if you didn't know, it's your ID is your social security number, so it's easy to remember.
Please don't open up a credit card with my information.
Yeah, you won't get a very big line. In fact, I don't think he's allowed to even open credit cards with how bad his credit. I mean, just don't do it. You'll ruin his credit. He's got like a 950.
I actually have like a 750.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Because we opened one credit card and made like 3 payments. I get emails all the time that's like, your credit is so amazing. Why don't you open up a thing with us?
Is that how they write it?
Yeah, open up a thingy with us because your credit's so good, boy. But yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in this week. Sorry that we were a little bit late, but definitely won't do this next week.
Yeah, and if you're wondering why, on Thursday, you can look at the weather. What was it? Was it all of California or just us? Fresno?
I think Central California, right?
Central?
It was just raining like crazy.
Yeah, it was insanely raining out of nowhere. Some places not here, but I heard they even got hail some places.
Ooh, nice.
And doesn't surprise me because it like rained like crazy for a little while.
Yeah. All right, so
cut to black.
signing out.
Wait, ready? 1, 2, 3.